And good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. My guest this evening is Rich Borer from Easter Seals. Rich, welcome. How are you? Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
It's been a couple months. Last time you and I were together, we were talking about Fantasy of Lights.
We were talking about, I think we were just getting ready to put up all the displays, so it must have been around Thanksgiving that I was here.
Yeah. Before we get going into what we're going to talk about tonight, how'd Fantasy of Lights make out?
Sure. So Fantasy of Lights is the largest fundraiser in the greater New Haven area, and it's a drive-through light display.
Right.
There's a mile course that you go through Lighthouse Park in New Haven. Mm-hmm. And there's probably, let's say, 80 displays that the building trades put up, like the electrical union put all the bulbs in and do all the wiring. Yep. And the iron workers put the displays together, and the operating engineers use the lift to put them up, but it's a great team effort. And this year, we did really good. We did better than budget and better than we had projected.
Oh, good.
But we had one night that was a real disappointment, and it was only because of the weather.
Oh, no.
We had one night, must have been maybe the second week in December when we had that big snowstorm.
Yeah.
And that was a big night for us. It's the largest night of the week, so it must have been a Friday or Saturday, and it really, well, we took it on the chin for that night, so that meant we were behind budget by $12,000 for that one night.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, but we made it up, and people have been great supporters, and actually a big effort is to take them all down, especially when everything's frozen.
Exactly.
Yeah, but everything's all packed up, and we're getting ready again for next year, so I'd like to thank all of the people watching.
Oh, please, go ahead.
Support our agency. Thank you so much, especially if they went to the light display.
Exactly. And as far as like when we talked about the light display and you talked about the inclement weather, who makes the call to call it that night, and how is that factored in? Obviously, you guys watch the weather and figure out what's gonna.
And typically, it's
shake.
nice when there's a little bit of snow because it's a drive-through holiday display, and so a little snow kind of makes it nice.
Right.
Too much snow, not so nice.
Yeah, no.
And so this case, because it's in a public park in New Haven, if the city of New Haven closes all of their parks, then we are closed. Right. Because of insurance liabilities and stuff like that.
Oh, totally. So last time we were together, I guess we talked about the merger that just happened. How are things going with the merger?
It's going well. At the beginning of the show, we've always been synonymous with the name Easter Seals.
Correct.
We have a new name.
Right.
And just to back up a little bit for your viewers so they understand what's going on, because I know because you've had the former CEO here, Mal, and you've been following what we do for many years.
Oh, yeah.
So we are 3 agencies that came together in New Haven 60 years ago. Okay. And those 3 agencies were the Easter Seals of New Haven, Goodwill Industries of New Haven, and the Rehabilitation Center, which did vocational and programmatic rehabilitation for folks. And so what happened was, our board got together through our strategic planning process and decided, number one, our name was too cumbersome, and secondly, we need to, decide what we're going to be as far as an agency goes. And so we decided that we were going to, because we have the Goodwill stores, and the largest part of our budget comes from our retail operations.
Right, correct.
We're a $30 million agency, and $25 million of that comes from the operation of our retail and donated stores. So we're very clearly a Goodwill industry. Okay. And so we are now Goodwill Industries of Southern New England. And so we're no longer, affiliated with Easter Seals, and we're no longer the Rehabilitation Center. Although our agency, other than the name, nothing has really changed.
Okay. Obviously, you guys offer services for what are some of the services you guys offer?
Yeah, so we'll do group employment for people with developmental disabilities, for people with physical disabilities, and the bigger picture would be anybody with a barrier to work. Okay. Anybody that has challenge to get to work, we help them find employment. And so what we'll do is job training. Yep. It could be as intensely done as one-on-one, if somebody needs one-on-one service, not only for preparing for a job, but also at the job site. Right. And we have people that have a job coach and they go to work with the job coach. And then we also have the largest portion of the service we provide would be group employment, which would be a bunch of folks that would go together to a job site, and they would work with the job coach. So, and one aspect of that is transportation is a big part of what we do.
Right.
A lot of the families wouldn't be able to send their loved ones to a day program or employment day program without transportation.
Correct.
And so we have a lot of vans, we have a lot of routes that go throughout the greater New Haven area to pick up clients that we serve, bring them to our hub, which is in North Haven, and then from North Haven, we'll go to the different job sites that we have.
Right.
So individual employment, group employment. We also do a day program for folks that have no interest in work,
right.
but yet the family would like
they
a
need something to
respite,
do.
right? So looking for something to do. So we have that program, which is our just in the community program, and then we also have what we call a blended program, which is I want to work but not every day. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, exactly.
We'd all like that program.
Do me a favor, sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
That's one of the programs. It's called blended. And so we have folks that maybe work 2 or 3 days and then they do recreational things 2 or 3 days.
Oh, cool.
We also do community reentry work for ex-offenders. The city of New Haven had contacted us about 10 years ago, and they asked, if we could do more to help with people that were incarcerated but then released, and that's certainly a barrier to work.
Right.
So we've worked very closely with the city of New Haven and all of the cities and towns in the greater New Haven area on that program.
Very nice.
And then the retail operations.
Yeah, well, let's talk about retail too while we're
Sure.
got time.
So because we are now Goodwill Industries of Southern New England,
Yes.
Retail is a big part of what we do. And in our retail operations, we run 15 stores.
Right.
We have probably about 10 donation site areas. We call them attended donation centers. All of them, are staffed with folks that would accept a donation, give their receipt when they're done, and that kind of stuff. And we also collect donations at every one of our stores. And so, as I mentioned earlier, if we do $30 million worth of business, it puts us in a really good position, especially during these difficult times.
Oh, yeah.
Because people don't have a lot of cash or disposable cash, or even there's a lot of competition for donations.
Oh yeah, totally.
But in our case, if we can get you to donate the tablet when you're done, other things, either electronics, housewares, clothing, and we process them with clients and staff, and then we sell those items, that's how we fulfill our mission.
Now, do you guys sell electronics at the stores?
Yes. But nothing with a hard drive.
Right.
That needs to be cleaned, and we don't want people's personal information to be getting out.
No,
We're very careful with regards to that.
Exactly.
But a tablet like that, we could run our software, and it'll clean that off, and we could sell that, or the big flat screen scanners, monitors, and things like that. But to get to your question, you had asked about the merger. So that merger is going along. That's why we chose that name.
All right.
And I kind of backed into answering your question. I apologize for that. But I backed in because I wanted to explain why we are Goodwill Industries of Southern New England.
Right.
Okay, so that's because we are in the process of merging, and we have all the approvals done from the state of Rhode Island, from the Rhode Island Board of Directors, from the state of Connecticut and our Connecticut Board of Directors, and also from the National Goodwill. It's all been approved, and the name now reflects our territory, Southern New England, which includes Rhode Island and Connecticut.
Now, did the merger and the name change officially take effect?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep, the name change is all there. The merger, we're working out some final details, that a little bit of hurdles that we have to get over, but not insurmountable. But we're very cautious that we want to do this right.
Right.
There was some unfunded pension problem, not a problem, but these agencies, the interesting thing, and if you won't mind, I'm going to take just a minute, talking about the Goodwill of Rhode Island. The Goodwill of Rhode Island started in 1865, right after the Civil War.
Wow.
And although there was no Goodwill at the time, it was called the Irrepressible Society. And it was women that had like a sewing circle that their families either owned or families owned or were part of the operations of these large companies in Rhode Island. And there's returning Civil War veterans, and they wanted to make sure that returning Civil War veterans had all the services they need with physical therapy, clothing, a place to live. And so they started this organization in 1865 called the Irrepressible Society, which is now Goodwill of Rhode Island, which ultimately will now become our history too. So it's just very, very exciting.
Do people know that part of history, or do you always tell
Well,
people?
Rhode Island knows
Rhode
a lot
Island
about
does?
it, but now that, Connecticut really didn't know much about it. But I'm making sure that I celebrate their history, because I think it's so important that we keep our history as we continue to move forward.
You're out there educating the people.
Yeah,
You're out there educating the people. Now, as far as the stores go, are there, obviously you have different stores all over the state.
Right.
And obviously you're going to have stores in Rhode Island. Is the inventory at each store going to change?
Well, no. Connecticut operations will continue, but you're bringing up a really good point.
Actually, you know what? Let's talk about that point when we come back.
Okay, great.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
You can come out now. It's okay. Besides, it'll all be over before you know it. Honey, you promised. We need the space.
Dad, sometimes we all have to learn to let it go.
Need to let go of a few things? Drop them off at Goodwill and make room for a good cause.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Rich Borer from
Goodwill of Southern New England.
Goodwill of Southern New England. No longer Easter
Doesn't flow
seals.
easy, does
No, it doesn't. It's going to take me a couple times to get used to it. Rich, welcome back.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you. So we were talking during the break, before we went into the break, about obviously the state of Rhode Island doesn't have stores yet.
Right.
Let's pick up talking about that.
Okay, sure. So in our territory, just to again, paint the picture for everyone.
Right. Go ahead.
Our territory is half of the state of Connecticut for Goodwill of Southern New England,
Right.
and it's 1 million people live within my boundaries of my territory, and that's 500,000 households.
Okay.
So now Rhode Island, that we just and as I mentioned, we do $30 million worth of business, and I just mentioned that Rhode Island, they have 1 million people. And so they mirror ours demographics. They have 500,000 households, but they have no stores. So we see as a great opportunity for us to grow our mission, to serve more people, to find more jobs for people by growing the retail and the donated goods in Rhode Island. And how we would do that is not to siphon any of the product from Connecticut and then bring it to Rhode Island, because we're very cognizant of the fact that if you and your mom made a donation at the Clinton store, that we want to make sure that Clinton folks can shop there.
Exactly.
And that when that money is then brought into the store and the donation is turned into resources, that those resources are also used within the community that we're in. That's really important to us. So in Rhode Island, we'll start collecting donations through donation bins and attended donation centers. Then we'll open up maybe the first store maybe in Providence, and then the second store on the south end of Rhode Island, very close to our stores now that we have in Groton and Norwich. And then start to grow through the rest of the state. But we anticipate that we could probably open up 10 or 12 retail stores in the state of Rhode Island. And we'll probably have 15 or 20 attended donation centers, and grow the mission and serve people in the same fashion that we do here in Connecticut in Rhode Island.
Now, what is a attended donation center as compared to a regular retail location?
So if you're familiar with our Clinton store, which is on the Boston Post Road, right on the Westbrook Clinton line, you can shop there,
Right.
but also you can donate there. And so those donations go right to the back door.
Right.
And when they do, they're processed and they get out to the floor.
Yes.
And as you know, our mantra is,
Go
when the
ahead.
donation comes in the back door, it should be on the floor within 24 hours.
There you go.
And on the floor in 24.
There you go.
Is our little theme. Because,
go.
we don't want to store product. It
No.
comes in as a donation. People want us to be good stewards
Right.
of their donation. They want us to turn it into mission.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that donation comes in, it goes right out to the floor. And so now, as compared to an attended donation center, like in Guilford, we have an attended donation center.
Okay.
And that's a storefront that's just convenient for folks, usually near densely populated areas.
Okay.
So people can just go and make their donation
Drop off.
without going all the way to a store.
Gotcha.
And then that would serve as a feeder where all those items would then go in crates and other ways to move the product, bins and things like that, and brought to the store on a daily at the end of the day.
Okay.
So it all makes it to the Clinton store, and you could donate either at the Clinton store or at the Guilford Attended Donation Center. And so we would do the same thing in Rhode Island, open up, like let's say in Newport or in Narragansett.
Okay.
But then open up a store in Westerly,
Right.
and then those feeder donations would all go into the store, because when people go what we call Goodwill hunting,
Yes, go ahead.
we want to make sure that there's a lot of bargains in there for you to look at.
Exactly.
And that's the only way that, especially in today's environment with brick and mortar retail, you pick up the paper and every day there's a national chain that's
yeah.
closing a lot of stores, with JCPenney's,
Yep.
Macy's, closing a lot of their stores, not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah.
Bed Bath and Beyond. Who
Yeah.
else had just recently closed? Babies R Us.
Yeah, I saw
Just
that.
closed
Saw-
some. That was in the newspaper.
Saw that.
So retail environment, because of shopping online, has been super competitive. So you have to make it a fun and a great experience, and that's what we do. That's how we train our staff, is that put things that are fun and exciting. So every time our customers come in, there's something new to engage them in.
Now, as far as shopping online with your stores, that's something that you can or can't do yet.
We do that. We sell. Yeah, we do.
I didn't
We
know- I
sell
didn't
used
know
books
that.
online.
Okay.
And those books we sell through Amazon and through eBay.
Sure.
We sell. We have a staff of 4 people in our online used books online venue.
Okay.
We also have clients that are there processing the books. And that's usually people, with barriers to work, somebody with autism, other folks that come with job coaches, and they're wonderful employees, and especially some of the folks with unique challenges. It might be social or interpersonal, but great employees that are really good with technology, really good with literature and
Yep.
books and stuff like that. So it's a very successful program. We sell, close to $1 million worth of books
Wow.
online,
Good for you
and we're looking to grow that. And we'll do jewelry online and other items online. And how we would do that is through our site called shopgoodwill.com. So it's kind of like the thrift, kind of like eBay kind of a thing.
Really?
Yeah, shopgoodwill.com for all of your
Cool.
all of your viewers.
Very
Check
cool.
it out.
Exactly.
And that is Goodwills from across the country that post items, and then they send it from their location. So the website, of course, could be anywhere.
Right.
But so when you go click on shopgoodwill.com, and if you're in Maine or if you're in California, and we have something that you're looking for in New Haven, a book about Yale, let's say.
Yeah.
We will pack that up and ship it right off to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is
Very-
exciting.
Very
and
cool.
we're still at the very beginning of that. But the Orange County in California, they host the site,
Right.
and they do an amazing job. So it's really good. It was just upgraded too, so I would encourage you to check it out.
Oh, cool. Now, as far as inventory goes in the stores, obviously you've got an assortment of stores all over the state. Does inventory change? Like if you're in the if you're in the Clinton store,
Yeah, it does. That's a really good question.
Can you what you see in
Right.
one store, does it differ
Yeah,
than what you see in another store?
You know, what you see in Southington
Right.
might not be the same thing you see in Groton.
Right.
And what you see in Groton might not be the same thing you see in Orange.
Mm-hmm.
And typically what we found, is, let's say Groton, for example, it's
Right.
Navy base.
Yes,
A lot
yeah.
of young people.
Sure.
So there's a lot of sports stuff. There's a lot of wetsuits and snorkels and
Oh, yeah.
summer
Summer
activity
stuff.
Same thing with the Clinton store, which is right down the street from here.
Right.
A lot of summer stuff, summer clothing, summer homes, as compared to whether it's New Haven or Hamden, Orange. Those stores might be more stuff that you would not. Summer stuff, it would be just typical stuff that you would see. But it's also, you see the school items. Our Hamden store gets a lot of Yale and
Yep.
Quinnipiac stuff.
Oh, yeah. There you
Our
go.
Groton store would get, the naval base stuff
Yeah.
or the Coast Guard stuff, So yeah,
Connecticut College.
exactly. So it's very unique to where we are. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, as far as the aspect of the way you guys operate and what's going on, especially in the state of Connecticut with the budget, how does that affect you guys?
Well, it really does. It affects us in a lot of different ways. Luckily for us, because we can get donations to turn it into our mission. There's a lot of nonprofits that just their budgets are primarily 90% or close to 90% or more of their budget is funded by the state of Connecticut in order to be what you would call the safety net agency.
Okay.
Food stamps and subsidized housing, or a safety net for people with drug addictions and people that need services. A lot of these nonprofits are funded by the state, and they supplement that funding by doing fundraising. They'll do a dance, a wine and cheese, or
Right.
golf tournament, and these other things. So that puts a lot of competition on philanthropic dollars.
Okay.
Everybody's doing a different thing to try to raise money. But for us, we were cut. We spend about $700,000 a year on our community reentry work,
Okay.
which are people that were ex-offenders,
Yeah.
that are looking for work, looking to be retrained and get back to work, make better decisions in their lives. And that money, we put $250,000 of our own money. So the money that comes from the donated goods from our stores, we fund that program. And then the state of Connecticut came forward, particularly during the Obama years, with
Yeah.
what they call Second Chance Act money.
Sure.
And then that money came in through the state of Connecticut, and the state of Connecticut, matched ours. And so then the program doubled. And we were moving forward, serving a lot of ex-offenders, finding them work and doing some really good work and having some really good outcomes. But then all of a sudden, with the state of Connecticut budget, the money disappeared.
Yeah.
So now we're back to our seed money, and we're continuing to do our programs. But you can imagine if you were a nonprofit that just worked on state money,
Oh, yeah.
how vulnerable you are.
Oh, yeah.
So if it wasn't for the generosity of your viewers, of people that donate, of people that go to these fundraising, a lot of them wouldn't be
Right.
able to function.
Exactly. Before we say goodnight, because we had a little bit more time left, website for if people want more information, where are they going?
Yeah, so you could go to our old website, if you still have it, which is Easter Seals Goodwill Industries, or
And then it'll throw you to the new site.
the new site is Goodwill Industries of Southern New England.
Okay.
So you could just Google that or put it in your, and
Google
it'll show
it,
it.
and people
Goodwill
can
Industries,
find,
Southern New England.
and people can find all sorts of cool information
Right.
about what's going on.
And if you want to shop online, you can go to shopgoodwill.com.
Cool. Cool. Well, we've got a little bit, not much time left, but so if
Sure.
people want more information, they can obviously go find some store locations and.
And we're always
Exactly.
looking for staff.
Right.
We're looking
Okay.
for employees.
Okay.
Particularly along the shoreline.
Right.
It's been hard to get our staff. Each one of our stores will have 20 to 30 employees working there.
Wow.
Half full-time, half part-time. The retail industry's
Oh, yeah.
a lot of part-time folks. But we're always looking for, so if anybody's watching and sitting on the couch and saying, hey, I'm retired, I'm looking for a little part-time job, you can stop right down the street here to our Clinton Goodwill store. We'd be happy to to chat with you.
I was going to say they can go online and fill out the application
Absolutely.
or do
Right.
everything in store.
If you go to our website for Goodwill Industries of Southern New England, you'll see an employment opportunities, and you can click on that too. And we advertise with Indeed and all those other.
Yep.
So we got a lot of great stuff coming up. We have a golf tournament coming up in May.
That's right.
That's May 14th.
Okay.
We also
Where?
have, that is going to be at the Farms Country Club in Wallingford.
Okay, sure.
And anybody like to go to that or help us on the committee, please give us a call.
Right.
At 203-777-2000.
There you go.
777-2000.
And they can, when they call and want information.
Just say we'd like to volunteer, and they go right to the fundraising department or to our development department.
Very nice.
And what else do we have going on that since we got a few seconds
Yeah,
here?
we do.
Yeah. Chat a little bit about how we're growing our new programs that we've been working on.
Oh yeah, okay.
So one of the things that we've been working on is our after-school programs, and we have a great partnership with the City of New Haven, where kids that you might consider latchkey kids, because in today's working world, mom and dad and everybody needs to work just to kind of keep up with things. We have these after-school programs that we're really, really proud of. That also you can go to our website and get more information on. And I'll just also mention that I'm on the board of directors for the national aspect of Goodwill. And it gives me a really great opportunity. As you know, Mal Gill was also very active.
Oh yeah.
And he was the CEO before me. I've been there for 11 years now. Mal has been there for 35 years.
You've been there for 11 years?
Yeah, it went fast, huh?
It did go fast. And before you were president and CEO, what were you?
I was the mayor of West Haven.
Yes, you were. That's right.
For 14 years. This job's much better, by the way.
I was going to say, who's got the
people
who's
are
got
probably
the better
watching
job
TV
now?
saying, well, that's why he talks so much.
Exactly.
But no, it's been going really well, and so we're really excited about our new strategic plan, our new name, the services that we're working on.
Cool.
Although we changed our name, the programs remain the same.
Yep.
And Rhode Island seems like a great opportunity if anybody would like to volunteer on any aspect. Doesn't just have to be golf or anything.
Rich Borer, thanks for coming down.
Thank you, Pete.
We'll see you soon.
You're the best.
See you, buddy.
Thank you.
On behalf of Rich Borer, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks. Good night. We'll see you next time.